In an era where we can track a single smartphone from deep space, how has a massive C-124 Globemaster remained a persistent ghost in the Yukon for decades? Modern radar can pierce solid ice, yet this giant remains invisible. Is it a failure of our technology, or is the Earth hiding it? The shadow of Mount Gannet looms large over this frozen mystery. In 1952, this flying fortress vanished with 52 souls aboard. It was one of the largest aircraft of its time, a silver Titan designed to carry tanks and troops, now reduced to a whisper in the howling mountain winds. Imagine a 174-foot wingspan, a structure so immense it dominated the runways of the world. Logically, such a massive volume of metal should be an easy target for today's high-resolution sensors and deep Earth imaging. Yet, the mountain does not yield its secrets easily, swallowing the aluminum hull whole. In the immediate aftermath of the 1952 crash, recovery teams used primitive tools, binoculars, handheld compasses, and low-altitude visual flybys. They were searching for a needle in a haystack of white, unaware that the plane was already beginning its slow, crushing descent into the living belly of the glacier. Fast forward to the mid-2020s, where multi-million-dollar recovery efforts utilized the pinnacle of human engineering. Despite the leap from paper maps to digital twin models, the wreckage remains elusive. We are witnessing a battle between human ingenuity and the crushing, grinding physics of the Yukon's brutal landscape. Modern radar technology relies on electromagnetic pulses to differentiate between materials. In theory, high-frequency signals should bounce off the metallic skin of the Globemaster with extreme clarity. However, the Yukon's unique geological composition introduces a chaotic variable that disrupts the clean return of these vital electronic signals. The physics of glacial deception begin with the ice itself. Glacial ice is not a static block of frozen water. It is a moving, flowing river of crystals. As the C-124 sank, it became encased in layers of varying density, each layer acting as a refractive lens for radar. Beneath the surface, tectonic debris mimics the signature of man-made materials. The Yukon is rich in mineral deposits and metallic ores. When a radar pulse hits a shard of magnetite or copper-rich stone, it can produce a return signal identical to that of a vintage aircraft wing. This geological interference creates a camouflaging effect. The wreckage isn't just buried, it is integrated into a chaotic mosaic of rock and ice. To a radar operator, the plane looks like just another cluster of erratic boulders shifting deep within the mountain's heavy, crushing architectural grip. Thermal layering adds another layer of complexity. As temperatures fluctuate, the ice creates distinct thermal boundaries. These boundaries can bend and trap electromagnetic waves, causing them to skim over the wreckage rather than penetrate deep enough to strike the metal hull of the lost C-124 Globemaster. The aircraft is effectively cloaked by the very environment it crashed into. This isn't science fiction. It is the raw reality of high-altitude geology. The Earth possesses a natural stealth capability that we are only beginning to understand through the lens of failed recovery missions and lost signals. Consider the movement of the Colony Glacier. It is a slow-motion conveyor belt, dragging debris towards the sea. But this movement is not uniform. The heavy engines of the Globemaster may have plummeted to the bedrock, while the lighter fuselage remains suspended in mid-glacial transit, miles apart. Every year, the summer melt reveals tantalizing clues. A scrap of canvas, a piece of a life jacket, or a twisted bit of aluminum may appear on the surface. These are the mountain's breadcrumbs, but they rarely lead back to the main burial site of the giant. The frustration for modern surveyors is the lack of a clean signal. In a laboratory, radar works perfectly. In the sub-zero reality of the Yukon, the air is thick with humidity and particulates that scatter the beams before they even touch the surface of the permafrost layers. We must also account for the sheer depth of the burial. If the plane has descended hundreds of feet, even the most powerful ground-penetrating radar loses its resolution. The energy required to see that deep is often absorbed by the salt and minerals dissolved in the glacial meltwater. The C-124 Globemaster was a marvel of the 50s, but it was not designed to be found once lost. Its construction used alloys that after 70 years of oxidation in a high mineral environment may have lost their reflective metallic properties, blending chemically with the surrounding mountain stone. Our reliance on satellite imagery provides a false sense of security. While we can see the cracks in the ice from orbit, the resolution is insufficient to detect the subtle disturbances caused by a buried wreck. The eye in the sky is blind to what lies beneath. The tectonic shift of the region adds a final layer of difficulty. Earthquakes and minor tremors constantly redistribute the mass within the glacier. A site identified during one season might be displaced by dozens of yards by the time the next recovery window opens the following summer. This creates a fatal blind spot in our military and scientific sensors. We assume that metal and ice are polar opposites, easily distinguished by a computer. In reality, the mountain transforms the plain into a geological feature, a part of the Earth's own ancient shifting skeleton. Is it possible that the wreckage has been ground into powder? Glaciers exert millions of pounds of pressure. The massive Globemaster might no longer exist as a single object, but as a long, thin smear of metal stretched across kilometers of the Yukon's unforgiving subterranean geography. Search teams continue to use magnetometers to detect anomalies in the Earth's magnetic field. But the Yukon is a volcanic graveyard, filled with magnetic rocks that create constant false positives. Every hit on the display could be the tail fin or just another ancient piece of basalt. The human cost of this technical failure is the lack of closure for 52 families. For them, the C-124 is not a physics problem. It is a grave that refuses to be found. The technology we pride ourselves on has failed to bring these men home. We must reconcile our hubris with the reality of the wilderness. We believe our signals can pierce anything, but the Earth is much denser than we imagine. The lost Globemaster serves as a humbling reminder that nature still possesses the ultimate power to keep her secrets hidden. Perhaps the wreckage is trapped in a subglacial lake. Water absorbs radar energy far more effectively than ice. If the fuselage resting at the bottom of a concealed reservoir, it would be effectively invisible to any aerial survey, protected by a liquid shield of frigid water. As global temperatures rise, the glaciers are receding at an unprecedented rate. What radar could not find, time and melting might eventually reveal. The mountain is slowly vomiting out the debris of the past, piece by piece, decades after the world moved on from the tragedy. But for now, the C-124 Globemaster remains a ghost. It resides in that thin space between history and myth. Our best technology, our most expensive cameras, and our smartest algorithms stand paralyzed before the sheer physical complexity of the Mount Gannet crash site. We analyze the frequency, the pulse width, and the return strength, searching for a pattern in the chaos. But the chaos is the signature of the Yukon. The wreckage has become one with the mountainside, a mechanical relic transformed into a geological anomaly by the passage of time. The mystery persists not because we aren't looking, but because we are looking for the wrong things. We seek reflections where there is only absorption. We seek solids where there is only shifting debris. We seek a machine where the Earth has already built a tomb. In the end, the C-124 Globemaster is more than just a missing plane. It is a testament to the limits of human perception. Even in our hyper-connected world, there are still places where the map remains blank, and the signals never return to their source. Until the day the ice decides to let go, the ghost of the Yukon will continue to haunt our screens and our sensors. We watch the radar, waiting for a blip that may never come, while the silent silver giant sleeps deep beneath the moving, frozen waves.